Hello friends, and welcome to another Pauper League. We're going to be playing the Elves deck again today. Basically the same deck as yesterday, except I made one small change. I realized that the deck that I had copied only had 14 cards listed in the sideboard, so I was playing with cards short, which is something you never really want to do. So I went ahead and added a Gruesome Fate into the sideboard. It's a card that I was kind of missing when I was playing the deck on Tuesday, and this would be a excellent card versus decks like Bogles, Tron, anything that wants to use fog effects, things like that. Yeah, this hand looks fine. We'll keep this. Play the Fyndhorn Elves first. Okay, well they're playing Forest as well, but they're just passing. Okay. I think we're going to want to probably play the Essence Warden Sentinel here. We could also just play Priest of Titania, and I think that would probably actually be the best play. Play the Priest, play a couple of Elves, and then just have a ton of mana to kind of go ham. Okay, speaking of going ham, opponent is going off here. Okay, pass back. Wellwisher is going to be pretty good here. And they have a lot of targets to be able to try and kill one of our things. So we can allow them to smack us for damage, and we'll just be gaining a ludicrous amount of life. So we're going to be taking 9 here, so what? Okay, let's draw some cards. Let's actually draw an extra card here. Of course, we find some forests. And yeah, our opponent's going to scoop up to that, which makes sense. We already had the Wellwisher in play, so we were going to gain an obscene amount of life that turn, and then win the game next turn. So let's see here. Stompy, what are they going to have? I have a Stompy list, I think, so we can kind of get an idea of what they're going to have. Gutshot, Longbow, Confrontation. Those are some possible cards they could have. The Gutshot, I think, would probably be one of the main ones. Unfortunately, we're not running the Spider Silk Armor. We're going for Rapid Vigor, which is not going to be nearly as good. Not really interested in Sabotage or Scattershot. Pyroblast, Hydroblast aren't very good. Gruesome Fate, not too interested in either. Maybe I should consider bringing in some number of Gutshot for the sideboard, but we have the Viridian Longbows, so we can bring those in. Gaining life here is going to be pretty great. I think we can take out the Invoker. I mean, it's a great way to win the game, but I think that if we've flooded the board with elves, we're just going to win based on that. We don't really, I don't think, need to punch through. Kind of want to take out Timberwatch Elf here for the same kind of reasoning. I'd much rather have a Huntmaster or a Wellwisher or a Vanguard. Could potentially cut like one of my Llanowar Elves or something. Maybe even cut a Forest over the Timberwatch Elf. Okay, well, we didn't cut a Forest, but we didn't get one in our hand anyway. We're going to have to mulligan that, obviously. This hand is keepable. We'll get rid of one of the Longbows. Okay, looks like our opponent mulliganed as well. Okay, Savage Swipe, so they're going to take care of my first elf and deal me a ton of damage to start. But they have no second land. Okay. I guess we'll put down a Priest of Titania and hope that fares better. Right now it just looks like a 2-mana Fyndhorn Elves. But if we can find another elf to put into play, it'll start looking a lot better. Ooh, gut shot. Okay. Well, we found another elf to put into play, but Priest got gut shot. Viridian Longbow. And pass the turn. We're going to be able to use Quirion Ranger to kill Metal Sentinel next turn if they don't do anything. Okay, fantastic. Let's get rid of that Sentinel. Ooh, hexproof and can't be blocked. That is a big problem. Big, big problem. They're going to be able to put double Rancor onto it. Well, I think that that's probably GG. Epic Confrontation. We can just concede, I think. I mean, we're not technically dead, but we are. That Ledgewalker is going to end the game. Cannot block it. Yeah, that's just an unfortunate thing. We don't have anything that answers that card. We have no flyers, and we have no sweepers. So the Ledgewalker is very, very good against our deck. Yes. Oh, we got the Longbow again. Could put down Elves Longbow here, or we could just put down Wellwisher. Putting down Elves gets us access to more mana. Wellwisher lets us start to gain life immediately. I'm going to put down one of my Wellwishers. Okay, so they start with Gut Shot, get rid of Wellwisher. And come in for 2. Still have 2 mana up. Volt Scourge, yeah, that's a good one. So we have 4 mana, we could put down a Huntmaster, we could play the bow and equip it where we wouldn't be able to shoot. We could play Wellwisher and bow. I think we just play Huntmaster here. Elephant Guide, making it a 5/5. Oh, no, on the Volt Scourge, that makes more sense. Giving it lifelink and flying. I mean, it already has flying. So that's going to be a pretty effective threat. We're going to want to get this Wellwisher down. Our mana is a little bit awkward here. I would have loved to have had 5 mana. We could attack. I don't think we're going to be winning a race. They have a flying lifelinker. Another Gut Shot. Brutal. Now, they had the Gut Shots at all the right times, it seems. Let's try Lead the Stampede, see if we can find anything. Probably find 5 lands. Quirion Rangers. So, what do we do here? We can make a bunch of dudes. Do they have... like, what is their last spell that they're hesitating here? Okay, we almost have a way to kill the Volt Scourge at this point. Three mana and 2 Quirion Rangers is 3 damage onto the Volt Scourge. We just need to find 1 more damage, which can either be through more mana or another Quirion Ranger. Don't think we're going to be able to make... We could get Birchlore Rangers. That would make us more mana. Of course, they have 2 cards in hand, all this mana up, so if they have Vines of Vastwood, some kind of pump spell, then our Longbow plan is out the window. Ooh, Savage Swipe, killing the Quirion Ranger. I think that's pretty much GG. That was our way to kill the Volt Scourge. What do we get off the top? Forest. So we have one more turn, maybe. Guess we'll put the Longbow on an Elf here. Get that started. We can take one more hit maybe from the Volt Scourge, but if they have anything to increase its power... Longbow, huh? They got 3 mana, so they can do that once. Putting me to 1. Vanguard. Well, that's not what I needed. We don't have any way to make colored mana, but we do have Timberwatch Elf and Quirion Ranger. And that is something. I don't know how much damage this is going to do. I don't think it's quite enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 22 plus. I would actually be pretty close. Ah, I didn't count it before. We got super close. I don't think there's anything else we can do at this point. GG. That is true, Mardu Scout. Should have killed Ranger during his turn. This hand is fine. We'll keep it. And Satan Raken is one of the trophy leaders in Pauper, and the opponent we just had, Mardu Scout, is also on the trophy board. So we've had runner boss battle. We want to run the Llanowar Elf out first. Okay, so it looks like they are on familiars. I know that Raken was playing, what's it? They were playing Boggles for a little while because they're a little bit tired of Ponza. Quirion Ranger is going to be excellent this turn coming up if we can resolve it. Okay, they're snapping the Priest. That makes sense. Quirion Ranger not going to be nearly as good now. Okay, but they are tapped out, leaving us with 4 mana, and we can bump it up quite a bit with the Quirion Ranger here. A little bit awkward with the Huntmaster, but we can still get it down after the Quirion Ranger, and then we won't have the Priest of Titania down. Oh, man. So we have access to what? 4, 5, 6 mana if we put the Quirion Ranger down, which puts us down to 5, so we can go Priest of Titania, Lead the Stampede. That seems pretty good. Luca Boring, thanks for the follow, friend. Ah, only a draw 2. That's disappointing. Okay, pass back. Oh, I'm glad that you feel that way. I'm a big fan of Pauper myself. Been playing the format for quite some time. Standard being such an expensive format, I was looking for something competitive where I wouldn't have to break the bank, and I mean Pauper is that. Okay, we're gonna do a whole bunch of cool stuff this turn. Oops, this one, go blue. Distant Melody. That's a goal. Oh, cancel that. We still got a ton of mana here. Put this one down first. I want this one too. Quirion Ranger, let's keep going. Alright, I'm going to be ignoring chat for a little while here. There's a lot of stuff going on in the deck, so I'm going to take a minute to kind of concentrate on what I'm doing. Where's my Birchlore? Green. Always yes, always yield. Okay, so how many creatures do we have on the board? We have 21, so Distant Melody would draw 21 cards, that's fine. Let's see here, where is the Birchlore Rangers? Go blue. And opponent concedes. Thank you, Satan Raken, for being a good person and conceding to that. Okay, so catch up with chat. Been playing Delver variants for some time, built Familiars right before COVID. Cool. Haven't got a chance to actually play it since, oh, that sucks. Never tried Elves, looks sweet though. Elves is a really cool deck if you like to do really impressive looking turns. It can be a little bit depressing because the deck really needs to achieve critical mass. So when you're playing against mono black control, is it Faeries, Dimir Faeries, they're going to be able to pick you apart. But if the opponent leaves you alone for 3 or 4 turns, you can put together some really impressive end board states. Okay, we're going to want the Longbow for sure. Pyroblast, maybe. Scattershot, I don't think so. Sabotage doesn't seem too good. So I think we just bring in the Pyroblast and maybe the Gruesome Fate. That is a lot of cards to be bringing in. Hey there, Charles. Yeah, we got so many elves. That was quite the turn there. I think we can probably take out the life gain cards. Wellwisher and Essence Warden. Opponent isn't going to be pressuring us in a meaningful way. So I think we can just straight cut those ones, and that gets us almost all of the sideboard cards in, no problem. So we're going to need to make one more cut in that case. The Wildheart Invoker is on my list. I kind of prefer the Gruesome Fate for that slot. Invoker relies on combat, and we don't necessarily know that we're going to get a combat. And even if we do, they could snap the creature that we target with this. So I think this is definitely a case where the Wildheart Invoker is the worst Invoker we could be using here. So yeah, we will happily replace it with Gruesome Fate. This hand is close. It doesn't have anywhere to go, but the Viridian Longbow is a pretty important part of this matchup. Mediocre hand keep. Kind of going for the Kill Bill vibe with that one. Okay, well, we're just drawing creatures, creatures, creatures. That's good. I think we're going to put down the Priest and another Mystic this turn. Or maybe Llanowar Elves just to keep the creature types different. I don't think they're going to be running anything like Echoing Truth, but we can play around it, so why not? Last Breath. Okay, so they're bringing in removal. Makes sense. 5 mana, so we can just play out our hand. Yo, Cherry, what up? Okay, Last Breath isn't going to get this Vanguard. But Snap could... Cherry and Slayer. One, two, three, four, five, six. So that's 2 equips of the Longbow. Not going to be able to kill Sunscape Familiar with what we got here on board. Unless they block, which no way that's going to happen. Okay, there's the snap. They're going to be able to untap the Chantry. So they're making mana. And Muldrifter. Wow. Okay, so we can, I think, kill the Muldrifter with the Longbow. That's probably what we want to do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we have the Forest for the last mana, so we can do it twice. It's not great. But it does keep them from drawing ludicrous amount of cards. Holy white, what? No. Wow. What a pain. Holy Light by Drew Tucker. You ever seen a card like that? Pass? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Those are really different times. They had very different ideas on what they could print on Magic cards back then. Okay, Muldrifter Part 2. We get Timberwatch Elf. So we have 1, 2, we have 5 mana. We cannot kill the Muldrifter. We're just going to play Timberwatch. And attack with our Vanguards. Maybe we'll just attack with the one. The one that won't die. Could probably attack with this one. I mean, they could just block with the Sunscape Familiar, so it would be giving them the choice to take no damage or to trade. And Vanguard is going to be so much better once I get another elf into play. I mean, even once this elf is ready to go. But that's supposing that I get to keep any of these cards for any amount of time. Could block. So we used to be running a Spider Silk Armor, an enchantment that gave all of our creatures +0/+1 and reach. But since Fiery Cannonade was printed, a lot of us Elves players have switched to Wrap and Vigor, which regenerates all of our creatures. Notably, Wrap and Vigor doesn't do very well versus Holy Light. Ooh, they're going to snap the Muldrifter. Smells like value. Stonehorn Dignitary. So this is the way they stop combat. They use the Stonehorn to just turn it off. Okay, Birchlore Rangers. They're going to prohibit this. Nope, they let it down. Okay, so we have no combat step. We might as well just attach the Longbow to maybe the Sentinel. And they're going to be able to start flickering the Rhino and the Elemental to just create a ludicrous amount of value. And when they get the Archaeomancer going along with the Flicker and the Dignitary, it means I'm just never going to have a combat step ever again. And that's why the Longbow is so important. Oh, Echoing Truth on the Longbow. Brutal. Let's see here. Both the Muldrifters are summoning 6, so they're not going to be attacking. Let's do a damage to the opponent. And they'll be ready to counter this on the way back down. It looks like we do have a combat step, though. Yeah, these blocks, they made it really awkward. Do I try and kill the Dignitary or save the Birchlore? Print Containment Priest into common? Woof. That would change things a lot. And I mean, they've downgraded rares to common before. Ooh, we actually killed both of their Muldrifters there. So I'm pretty sure they have the Prohibit waiting for the Longbow here. Pretty sure. Okay, Muldrifter on top. Preordained to draw it. Ban opponent's deck. That's right, every time you see a deck you don't like, find a way to ban it. Although, if they did ban Stonehorn Dignitary, I would be fine with that. This card does not belong in Pauper, but Familiars players would disagree. Here comes a Flicker. Oh, a Snap instead. They can untap the 2 Chantries, making mana. And here comes that same Muldrifter again, this time hardcast. Oh, they got more? No, they want to hold up that Prohibit, right? So I can't get the Longbow back down? That's what I thought. Ah, another Forest. I was getting pretty close to Scoopstown. Thanks for that, Slayer. I mean, Containment Priest is modern legal now, right? It was printed in somewhere. Oh, Last Breath. Yep. That works. Do you have another Last Breath for my Timberwatch? Oh, you do. You've been saving them. So we've been picked apart here. I think we can concede this one. They're going to be able to keep control of this. So we're going to move on to the next game. The Wrap and Vigor aren't going to help us versus the type of removal the opponent is playing. And we don't have any ways to interact with the graveyard. So I think we're going to present with the same 60. Alright, let's see if we can do it on the play. Well, not with this hand. This one maybe. Not great, but it's okay. Looks like opponent is also mulliganing. Okay, they're sticking at 6. Okay, let's play all the things. Oh, and we can even attack for 1? How great is that? So how much mana do we have here? We should have plenty with the Quirion Ranger. So we should be able to draw the extra card. Oh, they could have Negate. That would be brutal if they had Negate. Too bad. And now I'm out of resources. They would still have Negate up on this turn as well. Gruesome Fate, huh? 5 creatures in play. Let's just attack and pass back, I think. Get in 4. So we are able to put up a little bit of pressure here, but this is where things start to get very scary. Evoked Muldrifter. And then they ghostly flicker the Muldrifter and an island. No, they're snapping it. Okay. Which gives them access to the white mana now, so they're going to ephemerate the Muldrifter. How many times they draw from Muldrifter this turn? Too many times. They just drew 6 cards from this one Muldrifter. That's a lot of value. So we have 6 creatures. There's no counter magic, so we could hit them for the Gruesome Fate here. That wouldn't be too bad. This might be a good time to knock it off and then continue to just pressure them. Yeah, I don't want to lose the Birchlore Rangers, so we'll tap that one. And knock him for 1. Put him to 5. So we got them down to 5 life here, but with the 2 Sunscape Familiars, they have access to so much mana. They have 8 cards in hand, so they're going to be able to do incredible things this turn. The same way in game 1, we had this wicked turn where we just put, no joke, like 20 elves onto the board. Opponent is going to be able to go off in a similar way and just cast spell after spell, draw cards. So we'll sit back and let them do their thing for a minute. Oh, Archaeomancer, what are they going to grab with that? The Ephemerate makes sense. They can Ephemerate the Archaeomancer, get back Snap. Oh, Holy Light. Yep. GG. Alright, let's get out of here. This hand is fine. It's not great, but it's keepable. We have the Quirion Ranger. How does the deck generate blue mana? Jaspera Sentinel and Birchlore Rangers, I think that's the card. So we want to play the Sentinel here so we can use it to make mana next turn. And we're fighting Wolves. I believe this is a good matchup for us. Ooh, we get land off the top. Does that change anything? We're going to have access to 3 mana now. So we could go Elvish Vanguard into Essence Warden. And that's it for this turn, so pass. Oh my. You know, I see that a lot. People sacrificing the Tinderwall early, but getting the Rumble Fort down is pretty strong. How much mana do we have access to? It looks like 4 mana. So we could play the Huntmaster pass. I mean, Huntmaster attack with Vanguard. That doesn't seem terrible. Unfortunately, we haven't found any of our big mana cards. So even though it's turn 3 here, we're stumbling a little bit on what we can do. We're going to want to lead the Stampede so we can find some way to make large amounts of mana. Okay, battlements. That's good. That's pretty good. That's going to make 3 mana for the opponent. So they can play another wall, make more mana, another wall, make more mana. Nope, winding way to draw cards. So let's see here. They draw 2 cards for 2 mana, which is pretty good. but they do pass the turn here. So we're going to be able to lead the Stampede and see what comes of it. Too bad. We only hit 2. Always yes, always yield. Hey there, Molten Heart. Yeah. Wanted to give Elves a shot again. We're having a little bit of bad luck so far this league, but we're playing against walls here, so there's definitely a chance. Got this well-sized Vanguard here to put on pressure. So let's do some attacking. Smack. Well, we got them down to 5, but they have a full hand, and they have haste with a lot of mana. Fortunately, they only have the 1 forest, but the Overgrown Battlements here is going to give them a lot of mana. Okay, it's not going to be enough. So let's see here. If we're playing against walls... I think walls plays the Fiery Cannonade potentially in the sideboard. So we could bring in Rapid Vigor. I think that's what the walls deck did last time we were playing, if I recall correctly. And we cast 2 Rapid Vigor to stay in the game. Could also bring in Hydroblast. Hydroblast allows us to hit the Tuk-Tuk, as well as counter the Pirate, and one other thing, counter the Cannonade. So bring in 5 cards. We'll take out the life cards, Wellwisher and Essence Warden. They're not going to be pressuring us in the same way Stompy would. The Thought-Knot Seer is 2 mana. It already is 2 mana, Molten Heart. It just really depends on what you're using, right? You got the Eldrazi Temples. So just slam 2 of those on board. 2. Tap 2 lands. Thought-Knot Seer. And if you have a Time Machine, you can use Eye of Ugin. And that way it's also only 2 mana. I mean, this is basically the same hand as before, right? We keep it. Turn 1 Thought-Knot Seer versus turn 1 Thoughtseize. You just got to be the one to play it on turn 1. Another Hydroblast. Don't like seeing a second one of those. Let's play the Mystic. Going to be able to make a lot of mana with that next turn. Yeah, we're good for that around here. More blue cards. In any event, we do have a lot of mana, as I was saying. So... and that's all we can do for now. Skyclave Apparition. That is too strong. But we do have Journey to Nowhere, Oubliette, and Oblivion something? Oblivion Ring, maybe? No, I'm just drawing a bunch of these sideboard cards when I need gas. These are not the cards I want to be drawing right now. Well, the Birchlore Rangers is pretty good. That's going to give us access to the blue cards. And this also lets us hold up Hydroblast here. So we can potentially counter a Tuk-Tuk. Oh, did they print Flicker Wisp with the old border? Sweet. Do like me some old border. That's because I'm an old man. I think that it's a big nostalgia thing. People that, and this is just my opinion, but I think that people that have been playing since the old border appreciate it and are going to want to see it on some of their favorite cards. And WotC likes money. So bring the two ideas together and it's win-win. What? Taxes should die like the faxes? I mean, I could definitely stand with paying less taxes. But I don't mind playing taxes. Okay, so Gambito stacked the Muldrifter triggers correctly. We did run into one opponent previously that stacked the draw trigger underneath the evoke trigger, which you never want to do, in my experience. You want to draw the cards first, so you can draw something that lets you use the Muldrifter, like Flicker It, Ephemerate, whatever. Oh, Happy Splatter, thanks for the input. I hadn't heard that opinion before. Okay, so here's Tuk-Tuk. We're just going to go ahead and counter that. Counter target spell. Lead the Stampede. Yep, that's a pretty good one. How many cards are you going to draw? The old borders, they also have like unique watermarks depending on the color. So like the black one with all the boiling like tar bubbles on it, I really love that. Wow, they drew 4. Yeah, me too. Allied Horizon lands, that's pretty high on my wanted list. Fyndhorn Elves. Well, that's not exactly what we're looking for, but let's see what we can draw with Distant Melody. Well, we drew a bunch of cards, but it was mostly lands. How much mana do we have access to at this point? Not too much, right? Basically 2 mana? Oops, not that one. This one. And if we need to, we can still untap the Sentinel to Hydroblast something. We effectively have. We have the Quirion Ranger to untap the Sentinel, and we still have Hydroblast. Well, it's the elves thing. Once you've played elves for a certain amount of time, you start to absorb some of the shortcuts. So I know I have Birchlore Rangers in play, which means I know I have a ton of colored mana. I know I have Quirion Rangers in play, so I can do some really fun tricks with that. This is curious. Move past attacks? Aren't you possibly playing pirates? Maybe they're like really heavy into the walls combo and I should be bringing in Pyroblasts. No Insect Elf in Pauper. We have not been blessed with that card. Which is for the best, honestly. That card would be too powerful. But we do get to play with a Quirion Ranger, which is one of the strongest cards in green. Top 3 green cards, I think. Another top 3 would definitely be the new Annoyed Altasaur. And after that, that's where it really starts to get murky. Okay, well, there's the Altasaur. Lead the Stampede is what they draw with it. Or cascade into, rather. And they get a boarding party with it, so they're not going to be able to attack with the boarding party this turn because they moved to second main. Ah, that's right. Grow my Vanguard. Yep. The Walls deck does that. They do it pretty well. And their creatures are pretty big, too. So they decided to keep going. Gonna make more mana? Do more stuff? Yeah, it looks like a boarding party's coming down. Oh, are they short on mana for the boarding party? They are. So they cast Winding Way, which is going to draw them 4 cards. Oh, no. They don't draw the Cannonade with that. So we do know for sure they're playing Cannonade. Now they've gone wider. Damn these snow-covered forests rotting in my hand. You're right. I mean, do you really need more than one? Oh, here comes boarding party. Oh, maybe Altasaur instead? Yeah, they have 7 mana. They might as well go with the dinosaur. They're already in the second main, so why cast the hasty creature this turn when they can just get out the beefier one? So they're going to be able to come in for pretty much lethal damage next turn. We're going to want to present some decent blockers. We got Lead the Stampede. That's a good draw. I think we start with Lead. See what we get out of that. Still not really finding what we want. We've put so many distant melodies onto the bottom. Yeah, and that makes these things a little bit awkward. Okay, so we at least have something that can block one of the dinosaurs now. And we have Hydroblast for the pirate. So we can survive for a turn and start to pick apart their board. But this is definitely going to be some weird math. Fortunately, quite a few of the creatures they have on board cannot attack. So they're generally going to be swinging in with their dinosaurs. Whew, that's a lot of mana. There's the boarding party, so let's see what it cascades into first. Tuk Tuk, is that what it came into? Don't want to give them access to Tuk Tuk. I can kill the boarding party with a second Hydroblast after blocks. Oh, the Viridian Invoker needs to be countered as well. And that's all of my counter magic. Oh, no attacks from the opponent. They're just going to wait. Alright, I've lost track of what they could possibly have in their hand, so we're just going to get rid of that. It is when you have a board like that. Okay, we got some beefy creatures here. But we're out of resources besides what we have here. We can't really even attack with the Vanguard. They just like double block and it's bad for us. Wow, opponent scoops them up. They're not willing to grind this one out. We got to mulligan this. The old 2 in a row. We'll keep this one, get rid of a land. I think you're right, Slayer. Okay, so this is definitely a different deck. They are so ready for us. They're like, screw losing to elves. This sucks. I'm going to build a deck that beats elves and then play it again. Congratulations, opponent. You did it. Now I'm the one who's... No. My creatures are going to get killed forever. One, two, three, four? No, it's just 3. So yeah, we'll put the Quirion Ranger down here. So we can keep the Birchlore alive for the Distant Melody, is the plan. And I think we might as well just go ahead and gain the life right now. Then we can 6. I'm going to want to probably keep these lands in play here so I can have more mana next turn. This looks like maybe the wolf. Yep. Okay, so we're going to be able to keep our creatures on board, which means we're going to maybe draw 4 cards with this Distant Melody, which would be nice. Not bad, not bad. I think I would rather gain the 8 life rather than play a Birchlore Ranger. Now we can untap a Wellwisher here to gain another 4 life, but that doesn't seem very strong to me. We would be cutting ourselves off of a bit of mana doing that. This is scary. Oh, okay, it's Blightning. Discard 2 cards, Forest, Birchlore. Okay, this is no problem. No attacks? Okay. Makes sense. We don't have a ton of mana here. But we could Huntmaster Vanguard, I think. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we've got enough for that. Always yes. Always yield. Okay, we'll gain a bunch of life. And pass turn. $42. It's a fine number. Bonder's Ornament. Good card. Good magic card. We had already used the Quirion Ranger, so we were out of mana. No, we could have tapped the Wellwishers for mana. That actually would have been better instead of gaining the life. So we could have cast Lead the Stampede by tapping everything. I think that would have been better, Slayer. We only get 2. Too bad. Don't care, any order. If we play the Vanguard, are we still going to have enough mana for the Timberwatch Elf? Because that's 3, we go down to 1, and then we have 1, 2, 3. I think we'll have exactly enough. That board. It is a thing. Attack for 4. And we can also use the Vanguard to block, because we have Quirion Ranger. And if they don't kill Timberwatch Elf, they're dead. Well, they still have 4 cards and 3 mana, so they're still alive. But passing the turn to me without killing the Timberwatch Elf is a bad idea. Okay. Play the Sentinel, it'll pump our 2 Vanguards here. Okay, opponent concedes. So it looks like they're Jund. We're probably going to want to bring in Wrap and Vigor. As good as it looked there, I don't think the life gain is going to be necessary. We gained a bunch of life, but opponent barely did any damage to us either. So it looked cool that we had, 42 life, but so what? We could bring in the Hydroblasts to counter the red spells. So, Fiery Cannonade, Lightning, etc. Hydroblast is going to counter that. Think this is probably what we want to stick with. We don't need Gruesome Fate. Opponent isn't going to be stopping the combat step. I mean, Gleeful Sabotage is a maybe. Opponent is on Bonder's Ornament, so we can sabotage their ornaments. But I think I would rather have the Hydroblast. One land hand, no Quirion Ranger, but we have Birchlore. I'm going to keep this. We can still get Priest of Titania out on turn 2. And if it survives, we can start going ham. You got a Lightning Bolt. No Ash Barrens. No Lightning Bolt this time. I think that you generally want to wait with your Lightning Bolt against the Elves deck. A lot of people go for the first elf they see, and then we play another elf and another elf and another elf after that. Save your removal spells for our best elves. Kill the Priest of Titania, kill the Timberwatch Elf. Don't bother with the Llanowar Elves. Oh, Tasty McNugget. What are the finishers in this deck? I was just actually talking about them for a different reason. Timberwatch Elf is a big one. I'll go over a couple of the other ones in a mo. Okay, we have nothing else to do. So let's see here. Elves deck. Timberwatch Elf is a big one. The Huntmaster gives you a bunch of little dorks to go way wide. The Vanguard gets huge on its own. And the Invoker with enough mana will let you kill the opponent. So they abrade the Priest of Titania and play a Visionary. Lead the Stampede would be good here. Timberwatch will be good here. I think we can actually do both. We play Timberwatch. We have 4 creatures, 1, 2, and 3 mana. Lead the Stampede. But we can't really do that in reverse order. We can't really lead the Stampede and place Timberwatch Elf, can we? Well, the Timberwatch Elf is one of our best cards. Getting it out into the board is fine. And then we can lead the Stampede, one of our best cards. This is fine. We get to draw 3. Draw 3 for 3 mana. Pretty good. Okay, Lightning Bolt on Timberwatch Elf. Opponent is killing the right cards, starting off by killing Priest of Titania, and then killing Timberwatch Elf. Fortunately, we've got 2 more strong cards in our hand here, so we can continue to put good cards onto the board. And another Lead the Stampede. Wonderful. So let's see here. I think we start with Huntmaster. And because we have the Birchlore Rangers, we're just going to be able to play a bunch of stuff here. Start with Vanguard. Always yes. Always yield. So now every time we play a creature, we make a... oh, cancel this. We make a token. So every time we put a creature down, we have the creature and a token. 2 creatures. 2 creatures tap to make 1 mana. We cast another creature. So as long as we're just tapping 1 mana every time, we can go all the way. And that leaves us with a 5/5 here and a bunch of dudes in board. And our last card in hand is Lead the Stampede. Not bad for a turn 4. I mean, I've had better, but that's a pretty good one. We have to avoid Cannonade, but they're boarding party, so fingers crossed they don't hit Cannonade off the boarding party. Bonder's Ornament. We got lucky. So we don't have any Quirion Ranger. We're not going to be able to untap any of our creatures if they want to attack with the boarding party. We're just going to have to chump the 6. One, 2, 3, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We attack for 15 on the crackback. And another Huntmaster. Oh, no, attack with that one too. We got some blockers over here. That's 2 mana. We could make a Priest of Titania. Yeah, we'll attack like that. Okay, this is their last chance to Cannonade. They could have something else. They could have, what's the black one? 4 mana, does 2 damage to all creatures and all players. This could be it. Nope, 4 mana. Thorn of the Black Rose, no problem. So they have no mana. We should just be able to attack for the win, I think. We'll put these things down just in case we lose our Huntmasters. We'll still have a board this way. I haven't actually done the math, but I'm pretty sure we're golden. One of our creatures is a 16/16. Nice. How about you? Oh, still Xaxes though. One land, we have Quirion Ranger, but that's the only one mana play we have. We go Quirion Ranger and a Priest of Titania, but that seems pretty weak. I want to mulligan this hand. This one's a little bit better. Get rid of the Wellwisher. I think we probably start with... Oh, this is tough. We want to get both of these things into play next turn. I guess we could get the Quirion Ranger into play and then return the land and still play the Birchlore Rangers. That's not what I wanted to see, but not a surprise. So this is definitely going to be one of the harder matchups that we face today. Elves is really good at taking care of any kind of bruise, any deck that takes a while, any deck that doesn't interact. But Faeries, unfortunately, is one of our worst matchups, and it's also one that we're going to see quite a bit. So if you do decide to pick up the Elves list, get practiced versus Faeries. So not having a 1 mana tap for mana elf here is really kind of hurting. That would be really, really good with a Quirion Ranger, able to make a lot of mana together. But with the board we have here, making mana is awkward. Oh, they even kill the Quirion Ranger. And snuff out the Birchlore Rangers. We're having a bad time. Double removal spell on their turn 2. And we have nothing. Faeries usually wins a tribal battle in Pauper. Faeries versus goblins, Faeries versus elves, Faeries versus slivers. I guess we play the priest. What do you got in store for us? We got 3 cards in hand. If we can get through some counter magic, play Lead the Stampede, we might have a shot. Card advantage. That's the way to go. One of the problems with the Elves deck is we don't have a lot of enter the battlefield triggers. Our creatures tap for most of their abilities, or their abilities come into play later. Ugh. Another cast down. Land off the top? Nope. No chance for Lead the Stampede again. I guess we'll just play the Wellwisher pass. Maybe they're going to counter this. They decide not to or don't have it. They could just have Counterspell In which case, the Wellwisher would definitely be safe. But if they had Spellstutter Sprite, I think they would have countered the Wellwisher. Ooh, unless... Yeah, that Fairy Seer is pretty good too. Now Spellstutter Sprite can counter Lead the Stampede. That's a pretty good one. You want to counter this one, right? Nope. They're drawing a card. They're going to let us keep it. I would be so surprised if they blocked this. Well, color me shocked. That means that we might be able to get this Lead the Stampede through a Spellstutter Sprite. That's good news. Nope, they have another Fairy Seer. Okay. Vanguard had a brutal drop in rarity. Yes, it did. It went from rare to common. Same thing with the, what is it called? The Karen Beetle, Butcher Beetle. There's very few cards that have been downgraded like that, but Vanguard is one of them. Still don't have the mana for the Lead the Stampede here, but we can Birchlore Rangers. Let's see if they'll let this resolve. They're thinking about it. No, they decide to Spellstutter Sprite the Birchlore Ranger. And that puts them out of cards currently, but we have no gas, so we just have to pass. Might as well gain a life, I suppose. Mortician Beetle, thank you. Ooh. Behold the Multiverse. They're going to scry 2, draw 2. That's really going to help them reload. Although, between the two, Spellstutter Sprite is a way stronger card than Elvish Vanguard. Emily Skull, thanks for the follow, friend. So what do they got? They got 3 cards in hand. They still got tons of gas. And we just can't cast any of these cards in hand. Just counter everything, opponent. Counter everything for all time. I think with the opponent starting to actually accrue some cards in hand, we can probably concede soon. Yeah, they have Spellstutter Sprite in hand. It's going to be able to counter anything. They have Ninja, the Deep Hours, ready to go. Let's move on to the next one. Going to want the Pyroblast. And maybe the Wrap and Vigor as well. Scattershot Archer for sure, for sure. Maybe we don't need the Wrap, because this is the black matchup. I mean, Wrap is going to be a 1-for-1 most of the time. Yes. This is fine. Oh, Vanguard. Or rather, Ranger. Yeah. Vanguard Ranger. And we can even untap the Sentinel if we needed to Pyroblast this turn. Yeah. What do they pick up with this? Cast down, not a snuff out. One, two, three, four. So we can play the Huntmaster, but we can't protect it or play anything else after it. Yeah, I don't know of too many. Oh, really? That's an interesting one. Yeah, I don't see that ever. Pressure. Putting the opponent under pressure. They got to decide if they want to kill the Huntmaster or the Vanguard. Huntmaster helps me go wide, Vanguard tall. So tough choice between the two. And they probably want to make the decision now because the Huntmaster triggers on cast. Okay, they do go after the Huntmaster. Makes sense. Sentinel, yes. Attack with a 5/5. Oh, another Augur of Bolas. What if we counter this? They won't have a blocker, they won't draw a card. Oh, okay. Yep. Still have a blocker. So we can attack with the Vanguards and the Sentinels. Attacking with the Sentinels is a little bit risky, but even if they double block it, yeah, attacking, it's fine. It's all fine. Let's attack basically everybody. Not this one. Looks like take 4. No, they're going to double block here, take 6. They probably have Snuff Out for the Vanguard. Okay, we got the Fairy Seer in front, so we'll be able to kill that. No Snuff Out. They go to 2. Okay, well, free Snuff Out is no longer on the menu. They're going to have to pay full mana price for that card now. Yeah. Lead the Stampede. Cool. Okay, so everything resolved. Let's attack with everybody except for the Ranger. I guess we should have attacked with the Ranger here. We probably should have untapped the Priest of Titania to attack with that as well. Because opponents at 2 here, getting that extra point of damage could be the point of winning the game here. So yeah, I think... Oh, well, Suffocating Fumes changes that. I lose most everything from that one. Jaspera is definitely a good card. Okay, we still have Lethal Threat on the board here. Being able to use the various colored cards out of the sideboard has been a huge boon. And then also having Reach, being able to block the Faeries as they come in, so they can't cast ninjas, that's also great. So yeah, I think that King has hit the nail on the head with that one. This one's a little bit tough to keep. And, well, at least we don't have to deal with days anymore. Could you imagine? Terramorphic Expanse, Get Island, Days your 1-drop. Yeah, we've had a pretty interesting history of the format. There have been some very interesting decks that have really taken advantage of the power level of the format. From the post decks using the Locust lands to the Dimir Delver deck that was using Gush. Yep, that's totally true. We got quite a choice here on what we can play. I'm leaning towards the Vanguard this turn, but Priest is also quite good. If we play Priest this turn, we're going to have lots of mana next turn. We don't have too much to do with the mana. Alright, we'll lead on Priest. Get that mana going. Okay, opponent is taking a bit of time to consider how they're going to play out this turn. Kill Priest of Titania, hold up Counter Magic, play Augur of Bolas is the choice. Do they get Snuff out? They don't. They reveal Brainstorm. They do have a land drop. I was thinking for a second there they might not. And there's the Brainstorm. They are going to be Brainstorm locked, though. Unless they can do a cycle, a basic land cycling during their upkeep. Oh, they found the Snuff Out. So all their hard work really paid off there. And our hand isn't doing too much yet. Counterspell on the Sentinel. Yep, you got it. Pass turn. Alright, what do we got coming up on top? We going to be able to put anything together with this? Game 2 looks pretty good, but we're just spinning our tires here. Maybe we needed to mulligan to a stronger hand. I think that in this matchup we probably want to go low and wide as quickly as possible. Ugh, this is so awkward. But this is what happens to elves when we don't have a bunch of creatures on the board. When the opponent is able to answer creature after creature after creature, we don't have the mana to be able to cast our spells. Here comes Ninja. We don't have the red mana to Pyroblast it. Oh, Birchlore Rangers, you're a little bit late there, bud. I think we can probably scoop them up. They have Ninja the Deep Hours, drawing an extra card every turn. They have the pressure, and we have nothing. I mean, we have a lot of resources in hand, but we don't have any way to utilize these resources. And this is another Ninja. So yeah, they have another Spell Stutter Sprite in hand, ready to counter a 1-drop. Or a 2-drop. So we need land off the top so we can play Timberwatch. And even then, we're still under the gun. Because we can't even block the ninjas at that point. I think that, honestly, this is it. Yeah, Conchief, you've got the right of it here. This game is basically over. Do they have the counterspell for Timberwatch? It doesn't really matter, does it? They probably don't even care about it right now. They'll just let it hit the field and then cast down. Yep. Yeah, I think that that's a pretty good point there. I do like that the Invoker is an elf, and I have had instances where I cast it off of a Priest of Titania and then just had a 4/3 that was attacking quite well. Another removal spell here, and we'll scoop them up. GG. So we get half of our play points back. Yeah, and I think that honestly, the leagues that we showed kind of gives you a good idea of what you're going to be getting into as an Elves player. You're going to have some games that you just look invincible. You're going to do wild things on turns 3 and 4 and put 20 creatures onto the board. And other games, you're going to do a whole lot of nothing. You're going to play a creature, they're going to kill it. You'll play another creature, and they'll kill that one. So the deck can be frustrating, I find, at times to play. But when it's going, it is a pleasure. Being able to make huge amounts of mana, just throw creature after creature onto the board. And yeah, I mean, it's fun for that, for sure. But I could definitely see how the Wildheart Invoker might be a better pick for this slot. Being able to use that mana and have a main deck answer to Moment's Peace. Which I was using Gruesome Fate for that slot previously. Okay, well, that's the league. That's the stream for today.